All right, here we go. Question number 11 from our Precalculus homework number 1 in MyLab Math. It says use the graph of the function shown to answer parts A through N. OMG, we got a lot of parts to get through. Part A, find f of negative 21 and f of negative 9. So what they're asking me to do here is to go to where x is negative 21 and find the y associated with that. So over here I've blown the graph up to make it a little bit easier to read. We can see that when x is negative 21, we have a y value of negative 8. We also need to find f of negative 9. So if I go to where x is negative 9, we have a corresponding y value of 12. And so that's checking to see if you understand what this notation means. Basically means you have an ordered pair, x, comma, y. Next, same song, second verse. We want to find f of 18 and f of 0. So if we go to where x is 18, we have a y value of 8. And if we go to where x is 0, remember if x is 0, that is the y-intercept, which in this case is negative 4. Next, is f of 6 positive or negative? So again, we're going to go to where x is 6, which is going to be this ordered pair right here. If x is 6, y is negative 8. That's definitely a negative value. And hit me, baby, one more time. Part D, is f of negative 6 positive or negative? So again, x is negative 6 corresponds to a y value of 8, which is positive. Next, for what values of x is f of x 0? Remember, f of x is y. Also remember, if y is 0, that is an x-intercept. So all we have to do is scan across the x-axis and look where the graph crosses. That's going to be negative 18, negative 3, and 12. And we do need to input those separated by a comma. Bam, simply listing the x-intercepts. For what values of x is f of x greater than 0? Notice it does say strictly greater than, not greater than or equal to. So here we have y is positive. We know that y is positive when the graph is above the x-axis. So we're going to have everything from negative 18 up to negative 3. Do y'all see that? From one x to the other, the y is going to be above the x-axis. Also from 12 to 18, f of x is going to be greater than 0. Now if we read the instructions, it says type a compound inequality. Use a comma to separate answers as needed. So, compound inequality means we're going to start with the leftmost value of x, which is negative 18. We're going to use the less than symbol and x. So if you read that backwards, it says x is bigger than negative 18, but x also needs to be less than negative 3. I'm using the strictly less than symbols because it said f of x needs to be strictly greater than 0. If it would have said greater than or equal to 0, I would use the less than or equal to symbols. Then we need a comma because we do also have another piece of the graph from 12 to 18. So again, we're going to input the leftmost value, less than x. And then here be careful because remember at 12 it is 0, so 12 is not allowed to be included. X needs to be strictly greater than 12, but the 18 is definitely positive. So we're going to use the less than or equal to for the 18 because 18 is included since the value at 18 is definitely greater than 0. Next, what is the domain of f? Well, the domain are the values that x can be, and we have x values all the way from negative 21 up to 18. So the domain, if I use an inequality, using the leftmost value first, negative 21, less than or equal to, because that is included in the domain, x, less than or equal to 18. Again, I'm using the equal to part because those points exist on the graph, so those values are included. Next, the range is from low to high, the range or the y. And again, if I do the lowest most value of y first, looks like that's negative 8, less than or equal to y. Again, remember if you read that backwards, it says y is bigger than or equal to negative 8, but y has to be less than or equal to 12. 12 is the highest value of y that occurs on the graph. Next part, what are the x-intercepts? Type an integer or simplified fraction. Notice it doesn't say to input those as ordered pairs, and we've already answered this question. The x-intercepts are at negative 18, negative 3, and 12. Those are the x values where the graph touches the x-axis. What are the y-intercepts? Well, if it is a function, there will be only one y-intercept, and that is when x is 0, the y-intercept is negative 4. Again, notice they don't need that as an ordered pair, they just want the y-coordinate. How often does the line y equal 1 intersect the graph? Well, if I go to where y is 1, knowing that y equals 1 is a horizontal line, that's going to cross 1, 2, 3 times. Y equals 1 will intersect the graph 3 times. How often does the line x equal 4 intersect the graph? Well, x equal is a vertical line. Again, if this is a function, we know that every vertical line can touch only one time. And so x equal 4 is going to touch only one time. 2 more parts to go. M. For what values of x does f of x equal negative 8? I think we've already done one like this. Where is y? Negative 8. Well, look, that's at 2 places. Y is negative 8 when x is 6 and negative 21. And it shouldn't matter what order you put those in. Just make sure you put the comma. And last part, for what values of x does f of x equal 12? And that's going to only be one value of x, which is negative 9. And that's going to do it for this particular problem. If you have any questions or comments about anything covered in this problem, please feel free to leave those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.